God, what is this?
Oh, it's quick. It's really quick. That's enough. I think that's quicker than my Porsche 911 996.
It's just instant from the get-go.
It really is genuinely good fun, this, to drive. It really is.
It's a really brilliant electric car.
It's fast and it's fun. It's a result.
You see that? Well, that is the Model 3, and it's a more affordable Tesla.
Tesla Model 3 has made electric cars accessible and cool. It doesn't matter whether you're a family looking for their first electric car or a multi-millionaire rapper, the Tesla Model 3 is sexy and desirable, really the car of the moment. And it's done all of this without being an SUV.
Jumping out of the Polestar and into the Tesla, this immediately feels more sporty. You sit lower down, closer to the road, so you feel more connected to it. It's also got quite a low dash, and the forward visibility is great. Another thing is the motor just has a bit more power and punch. And when you combine that with the fact that this weighs in at 1,700 kilos, which means it's about 300 kilos lighter than that Polestar, it's just more responsive to your accelerator and to your steering inputs because the car is more agile. It feels genuinely sporty to drive. Part of that is helped by the fact it's rear wheel drive, so you're pushed out of the corners rather than pulled through them. And when you accelerate out of a bend, you can feel that the rear squat and the drive being laid down and a little bit of a wiggle from the tail. It really is genuinely good fun, this, to drive. It really is. Anyone who says electric cars are boring should drive a Tesla Model 3. I like it. It's fun. And I like fun.
It really is quite fast as well. Let's give it a go here. It's just instant from the get-go. And you know what the funny thing is? Tesla says that this car only accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.2 seconds. That's only about as fast as a Hyundai i30N, but it feels faster. It's just that instant torque without any need to worry about a gearbox or anything. It's just instantly available. There's no delay. So in that sense, it feels faster, even though it's nowhere near as quick as the dual motor versions of the car.
So as a result, you kind of underestimate it. You get in, you're like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna floor it. But then, oh my, it's like, wow, that's the surprise of the year for sure.
This Tesla is supposed to do 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds, but what will it really do? Let's do it. Let's find out the truth. Smooth takeoff, no sled, just building the power nicely. They're only going to smashed it. 5.2 seconds. It didn't feel that brutal. It was smooth taking off, but it just keeps on accelerating. It's not bad for like the entry-level car, is it? You know.
Hold on to your hats, kids, because this is the launching of Tesla. Woo! Okay, one piece of advice. I suggest you go and do some like neck exercises before, because that's going to cause some pain if you do that too many times.
But actually, this is pretty good. I'm not like a Tesla obsessive person. I just like cars, and this is a pretty cool one. That would not get old. I mean, it would make you sick after a while, but it wouldn't get old. I can't believe how fast it is, and I can't believe how well it corners.
But it really grips well in a corner. Also, the steering is super fast. It's just odd that it's this much fun with absolutely no engine noise. It's fast and it's fun. It's a result. Of course, you can upgrade to have Tesla's Autopilot, which is basically a clever cruise control system. So to engage it, I hit down on this stalk twice. There we go, it's on. Now it's doing what normal systems do, so it's using radars and cameras to keep a safe distance from the car in front. It'll also automatically steer to keep me in lane, though you do have to keep your hands on the wheel, otherwise it'll disengage. But what it can do that other systems don't do is this. Look, if I want to change lane, I just put the indicator on and it'll be looking to see what's next to me. You can see it's safe, and then it'll move into that lane, and then it disengages the indicator. So you don't have to do that. Now, if you have the car in America, it'll actually do all that itself without you having to put the indicator on. You can even set your destination on the satellite navigation, and it will automatically take you off at a junction, obviously the right junction. Now, we don't have that yet in Europe because of European laws.
The outside is modern, but not particularly flashy, although it does look a bit like a suspicious frog from the front.
To me though, it looks a bit like a wireless mouse. There's clearly a bit of Porsche influence in its face here, but I suppose the anonymous overall visage of this car is what keeps it universally appealing despite not being an SUV.
One, I think it looks pretty great. Most angles have a really great look to them. There are only certain angles where the sloped roof, clearly designed for aerodynamics, can look a little bubbly, and the front from the side can look a bit like a duck, but most angles are really great to look at.
Now, as soon as you sit in the Model 3, it's clear that this is a car that's meant to be from the future. As you look around this cabin, it's so clean and pared back. There's a really appealing minimalism to it. There's no buttons or toggles or anything sticking out at you. It's just a clean slate design. It feels spacious as a result, and the materials are even pretty high quality, which is good because you are paying an almost semi-premium price for what would normally be a small sedan.
So now for this facelift, Tesla has completely redesigned the center console. So they've gone out with the piano black glossy finish and in with some of these plastics and synthetic leather. Now, that might sound like a recipe for disaster, but let's cover exactly what's new. At the back, you've still got a central armrest with loads of space underneath it. In front of that, the cup holders have lost that chrome outline from before. And here, you used to have a lid that would flip up, but instead they've swapped it for this sliding plastic lid instead. And it actually feels pretty good quality. It's not really flimsy and thin. But the best thing is, underneath it, you've still got absolutely loads of storage space here. So it's really practical from a storage perspective. And then at the top, where you used to have another flippy lid thing where you could put your smartphone underneath it, plug it into a USB and then just leave it there. Instead of that, they filled it in, and on the top, you can leave 2 smartphones, which are both able to wirelessly charge.
Likely the next thing you're going to notice is the fact that there's no dashboard. There's no dashboard at all. There's no digital dashboard, there's no head-up display, there's nothing directly in front of you. And while this does make the car good for concentrating on the road because there are literally no distractions in front of you, it does mean that you have to turn your entire head to look at things like the speedometer, to use the functions of the car, to see key things like how much range you have or how much the car is regenning, and these kind of critical features.
And this one here is called Romance Mode. So it shows a lovely roaring log fire there. How romantic is that? Play some relaxing music. Also, it blows out warm air to the ventilation system and warms the seats as well to get you in the mood.
Now, you get your reversing camera, you've always been able to have that, but now you effectively have a view of your blind spot. And it's really useful. You can set it so that when you're on the motorway, when you indicate, it gives you that view and effectively becomes a blind spot monitoring system, although not officially a blind spot monitoring system.
Okay, space in the back. So this seat is in my usual driving position. I've got plenty of knee room. Headroom is just about okay for me, but people over 6 foot may struggle a little bit. You need to carry 3 people in the back at once. It is doable because, well, look at this. You have no hump in the floor. And so there's plenty of space for everyone's feet, and the car seems quite wide, so it should be all right for shoulder space as well. If you need to fit a child seat, there's a couple of Isofix here and on this seat as well. If no one's sitting there, you can just fold this down, and then you've got cup holders there. It's all right. My only issue is because this is an electric car, you've got batteries underneath the floor. It means that your feet are quite high up, so if you look at that angle there, it's a bit like you're squatting, so that could be a bit annoying on longer journeys. Look, I haven't got much under thigh support as a result. I do like this though, look. Coat hooks. I love the way they're actually hidden away until you need them, and of course you've got your reading lights there. And they're right where you'd be holding a book, which is good.
The headroom isn't as good as it could be back here, possibly because of those high seats. I'm 182 centimeters tall and it's okay, but I feel like if you are any taller than me, your head might be touching that glass panel. The boot comes in at a total of 561 litres, which seems above par. But it comes with a catch that the stated volume includes the large underfloor storage area, which we needed to fit the whole Cars Guide luggage set, and meanwhile the so-called frunk holds 88 litres, which surprisingly was just enough for our smallest case.
It has storage in a few places that vehicles this size typically don't. Not only do you have a normal spacious trunk with seats that fold flat to allow for larger objects, but you have a very large understorage compartment underneath the normal trunk space that holds a lot of cargo. You have a side cubby in the back there, And then there's the front trunk. It's not gigantic, but can easily fit a backpack or anything you'd like to put in there that's around that size.
One of the great things about the Tesla Model 3 is that you have access to the Tesla supercharger network, which obviously other electric cars can't use at the moment. Also, the car's sat-nav is really good at plotting your journey to stop at the right charge at the right time. So it's just dead easy. If you're a beginner EV user, this makes your life much easier.
The Model 3 is a really brilliant car to drive and a brilliant electric car to live with as well because of its range and also, crucially, because of its fantastic supercharger network. Yes, amazing charging speeds on offer from a widely available and brilliantly maintained network is way ahead of what non-Tesla EV owners have to make do with right now.
Charging is often people's biggest concern, and it seems to be a known fact that it takes forever, but it's just not true in practice. The act of charging can physically take longer, but it's just not time that you are experiencing if you can charge overnight. And again, superchargers are still very quick.
It remains one of the very best electric cars out there.
If you're into a sporty drive, you're going to want the Tesla, without a doubt.
Yeah. It's not so bad. I can't believe it. They've actually been able to turn this into a pretty sporty little car. Oh my God. Well, this doesn't suck at all.
The Tesla Model 3 isn't just a good electric car, it's a good car full stop. It's fast, it's futuristic, it offers an unprecedented level of connectivity, but it is important to remember that it's not perfect. It has its own share of frustrations, which annoyingly could all easily be fixed. Still though, it has a well-deserved place at the top of the EV market, and it looks like it's set to stay there for some time because this rear drive variant to me is the best value EV money can buy at the moment.
So then, what's my final verdict? Well, I really like this single motor version of the Polestar 2, but I do still prefer the Tesla Model 3. It's just a bit nicer to drive. You've got access to the Tesla supercharger network, which makes it easier to live with. And the best bit is, it's cheaper to buy. And that's why it wins this test.